thing, and then you would have recorded that whole thing, and it would have come out of one side, and then you would have been like, "Fuck." I always want my shit to sound good, so
and just like that,
forgive me if I'm like, yeah, okay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to my first ever pre-recorded episode where I jacked up the audio and got the wrath of my buddy here, Christian CHH. Happy Friday the 13th, the only one in 2025 that is also Jason's birthday. So that's pretty cool. Dude, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate that you need a candles box right there. I bet it smells good in there.
Dude, I got this thing I was going to light for this occasion.
Oh, you got the series candle still. Look at you.
Dude.
Yeah. I begged my wife. I said, we got to do the series. She was like, no, let's just do the movie. I said, no, I love the series. So there you go. Cool. Cheers.
Hell yeah, brother. So I got to start by saying, I started off just kind of a casual fan of your work, popping in, checking in occasional reviews. And then I stumbled across a Planet Dirty episode, and it had this crazy punk rock and kind of classic 80s music attitude, and it just jacked me up. And I was like, man, this guy's got great taste. And then what changed for me was when I realized when I realized it was your music as another musician, it just clicked. And then that just kind of spiraled. The blend of horror and tunes, I was kind of hooked after that.
Very, very cool, dude. That means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. And it's really cool when people say that they don't skip the intros.
That's the best part. I'm serious.
I need to change it up and do some stuff, but I know what people will always like to hear certain songs, so I kind of leave it alone. But thank you, dude, and it's awesome. It's always great talking to another musician. You definitely look like a musician. You look like you're either. See, you give off drummer vibes a little bit. Ooh. Maybe you at least play drums, maybe not in a band, but I'm assuming you're a guitar player.
I am. I teach music. I cut my teeth with punk, and then I was in a tech death metal band that toured around, and then I got into bluegrass, so I started teaching that.
You went
like flat picking?
Damn. Oh, that stuff.
So I'm all over the map.
You're a real musician, then, dude. Yeah. I'm a fraud. You're a real musician.
No, you have great music. I just like to play guitar to other people. So my grandparents played mandolin and banjo, and they had a bluegrass band. So I've been hearing bluegrass my whole life. So the runs, those are kind of what get me. But yeah, your channel, it kind of feels like a Friday night party, man. Greasy pepperoni, cherry coke, 4-player GoldenEye, Evil Dead on the screen. You definitely got a vibe there.
Thank you. It's funny because for the longest time when I was doing YouTube, and I kind of cut my teeth on YouTube when everything was, what's going on, guys? Today we're talking about, bah! And it's just like, that's how people kind of got big with those kinds of personality. I mean, I'm talking, this is way before like Dead Meat and stuff. Like this, what's that guy with the black spiky hair? Like I started doing YouTube and he was a huge YouTuber. If you said his name, I'd know it. But anyway, like it was that kind of over the top thing. And I thought I had to be like that for a while, but that's not me. Like, dude, I am like, I'm chill. I like to just lean back, cut it up, but like I don't have like a super big personality. Like I like to laugh and have fun, but like, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be me, because if you try to be somebody else on the internet and then people don't like you, it actually feels worse than being yourself and knowing they don't like you, because at least you know that like, you're being real and they don't like you, and you can accept that. But when you're fake and they don't like you, that hurt for some reason. That's a worse feeling,
dude. A poser without the benefits. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying,
a whole
dude.
thing.
Yeah, so you may as well just do your thing. And then it's funny, dude. I used to think that was such a stupid ass like cliche thing. Just be you. Nobody can be like you. And I was just like, oh god, everybody's the same. What are you talking about? But the reality is, no, dude. Once I dropped all the shenanigans and I just started wearing my baggy t-shirt and sweatpants and hanging out, dude, it all started clicking. So
that's awesome.
Just kind of half-ass everything you do in life, and then It all works out.
Well, it's definitely authentic. It definitely comes off that way. It's really easy to clean the house to drink a beer to.
Hell
It's
yeah.
just it's mellow, man. It's a good vibe.
I love it.
Um, so we'll get into some YouTube stuff. I started my channel really a year ago with the only mission: just get out there, don't stop, kind of make it your own, and then yeah, be yourself to a fault. Um, it's been an interesting ride, ups and downs, but
Oh, do you doing
yeah,
everything? Are you doing everything right? First of all, I love your setup. I feel like I'm in this really small venue with the stuff on the walls
nice,
and everything. Like I feel like I'm at some kind of like you giving me like green room vibes a little bit. It's just
sweet.
I love it, and you've got good audio. That's my number one thing. It's like the only thing I tell people do not half-ass whatsoever is audio. If it sounds like shit, I'm out. I can't like I'm we're all spoiled nowadays. You can't just have you can't point your iPhone at yourself and just do
It
video.
sounds so bad.
You have to have good audio. Like that's the number one thing. And you're doing everything. You got the SM7B, you got everything going right. So I love your videos. I watch your stuff a lot, quite frankly.
Thanks,
And
man. That's awesome.
yeah, you're
That means a
doing
lot.
yeah, the kind of stuff that you're doing, it's like that's my vibe too. So yeah,
I
I'm
was
digging everything you got in the background. I'm kind of eating up your scenery behind you now that I can
That's
see a
awesome.
little bit more of it.
It's kind of like there's a beer sign. It's my garage, so it's so hot in here, but just everything I like, and I kind of change it out. But
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
sweet. The audio was huge. That was the first thing I did as a musician. I was like, I sound like shit. I gotta switch this up.
Yeah.
The Blue Yeti wasn't enough. It works.
It works for a while, and for most people, it's good enough. But it's just perfect. You're a musician, so you get it. It's like, man, I'm a mic junkie. I have an SM7B. I like my RE20. I feel like it
That's a
works
great
good.
mic.
Yeah, it works good for my voice. I feel
It's
like.
trebly, like it punches through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I
yeah,
like it.
this one I use this one more than most of them. So yeah,
I
good
felt
stuff.
I felt stupid having $200 headphones with the $100 mic. I just felt dumb. I gotta stop this.
Yeah, the mic has to be more expensive than the headphones
Seriously.
just off principle.
Right. Um. So yeah, let's get into kind of like your origin story, or we could go through some icebreakers. Those are kind of fun. That's
Whatever
what I
you
love
wanna
about
do,
your
dude.
channel. All right,
Let it
man.
rip.
I got 10 icebreaker food questions for you. See, you're drinking a Coke Zero there. What is the best mall food court staple?
That's a great question, and my mind immediately went to Sbarro Pizza.
S-
Is that how you
Dude,
say it?
Sabaro.
Sbarro, dude. I so in my mall, which there's really not much of a food court in there left, but in my mall, dude, we had a place called Yummy Japan. It was phenomenal. It wasn't a chain, but these people, they barely spoke English. They had the little kid behind the counter. When you see that little kid, you know the food's gonna be fucking
It's
fire.
gonna hit.
It's gonna, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, dude.
So I would get that a lot, but before like that, like for many years, right when I moved up north to North Louisiana, when we went to the mall that I would go to and still kind of go to just to kind of walk through it before it eventually closes. It was Sbarro pizza, dude. I would get a
All
big
day.
ass sliced cheese pizza all the time with that big Italian looking Coke. I'd always get the biggest Coke you can get.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, that was it. Yeah, Sbarro pizza.
It's got the Italian flag wrapped around it.
Right. You know
It's
it.
gonna
You
hit
know
before
it.
a movie.
Oh, dude. And then if I was feeling right, I'd go to the Great American Cookie.
Okay. We don't
And
have very many of those over here left.
yeah, they have those. They still have one in my mall. And dude, there is this cookie it was a red velvet cake cookie.
Oh, shut up.
I mean, you're ready to just you're ready to get in the casket after that. You're just like, it's all downhill from here. You may as well go now. It was that good. Now I want
Damn.
one, dude.
That sounds so good.
I used to get the pizza. I used to get the cookie, and then I would go to the FYE, and then that's when I started getting all my movies right around that time. And this
We
was
still have
2000.
one, FYE.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's so funny? I have my wallet. I keep so the FYE I went to a lot right in that mall. It was Sbarro Pizza, Great American Cookie. Right over here was the FYE. You could stand right between you could see all of them. They were that close to vicinity. I got so friendly with the manager, Big Tony,
Big
that like
Tony.
yeah, Big Tony was great. I hope he's doing good. I haven't talked to him since they actually didn't really shut down. This store was doing really good because we had a great FYE where they sold everything: the shirts, the vinyls, the toy,
Nice.
everything. But Big Tony one day, I spent like $350 in there. I got vinyls, some Scream Factory stuff, some Arrow stuff, you name it. And then like he was like, "Hold on, man." He went in the back. He got this paperwork out. He gave me the ultimate like gold package where everything I buy, every item is 15% off, and I still have
Dude,
my card. He goes, "Man, you come in here so much. I'm gonna hook you up." So I
that's
still have it in
awesome.
my wallet. So if I ever travel and go buy an FYA, I still use it.
We got one local. They have,
Yeah.
yeah, vinyl and shirts and toys and shit.
Yeah.
Their screen factories are still like $40. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No slips. All right, you can rescue an item from the Taco Bell graveyard. What are you picking?
Rescue an item from the Taco Bell graveyard. That's a great question. Um, Dude, it's got to be the Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Taco. Like I love the
It's pretty
Cool
good.
Ranches, and they now all they have is the cheese one. It just tastes too redundant. Like there's something about it with because the taco's already got cheese in it. The Cool Ranch, dude, the combination of the taco meat and that Cool Ranch, it gave you an electric shock on that first bite. That I miss. I really miss that. So I'd resurrect the Cool Ranch.
I was a big double decker taco, and then grilled stuffed burritos and choritos, chili
I
cheese.
used to get I used to get the cheesy meat. It was a beef with little potatoes in a big burrito. I forgot the name of it,
I know what you're
but they
talking
don't have
about.
that anymore either. I do the 5 layer nachos when I was in high school. I don't know how old you are. I'm 33, but this was like 2009, and
I'm like
I used to go
40.
to Taco Bell in 2009. They had the 5 layer nachos. It was 78 cents. I'd get my mom
Dude,
like she would give me like at that time she would give me like money for lunch and stuff, and she would give me $5 every day, and me and my brother would just but
you can eat.
we would get two of them, and it would be like $1.90, and we would just constantly pocket that money. So we would be making money off my mom all the time because Taco Bell used to be dirt cheap. We used to get that all the time. So
Yeah, dude.
yeah,
79-cent burritos. Best pizza and topping.
I can already hear Brandon yelling that stupid hungry Howie place in my ear.
Oh.
Um, Best pizza is that's a good question, man.
And it depends on who's got a deal. I get that. Domino's you can get
Well,
for dirt fucking
my
cheap.
gut was going to say Domino's, and I'll tell you why. First off, it's right by the house, and second off, I mean, I got a Pizza Hut too, and I love the big New Yorker from them. But
It's good.
Domino's, they're consistent with me, and we constantly get free pizzas because we get it once every week and a half. So we get those
You add
points.
up those
I'll go with
points.
Domino's. I'll go with Domino's. But I don't think
What's the
that's a
topping?
popular choice. Though I feel like people think Domino's is just like a basic bitch answer. But look, I'm in Louisiana. I don't have Anthony's authentic slices and stuff like that. You know, I don't have that. Like if I was in Chicago, it'd be a different
We
story.
have a lot of pizzerias stuff.
Best topping is absolutely pepperoni and jalapeno. I love
It's
jalapeno.
a great topping. My wife loves like ham and pineapple
Oh,
with the
that's just like
jalapeno.
Sydney.
The
Sydney
sweet
loves.
and spicy.
I can't do
She
the ham.
loves it. With white sauce,
That's a
loves it.
interesting choice right there.
Extra white sauce. Little Debbie or that hussy hostess.
Damn.
I asked my brother right before I came on here. He was struggling.
I think I gotta go Hostess, dude. I really do. Hostess has some absolute classics. Little Debbie's a more iconic name, but Hostess had like the mainstays for me growing up. So definitely Hostess. I'm gonna go with Hostess.
What's your go-to hostess?
Let me see.
Ding dong, zingers.
Yeah, Zingers is my shit. Honestly, dude, the donuts were really great too.
Those are really good.
Um, the ho hos, shit. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm sticking with
He's
Hostess.
looking them
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Hostess is my
All
stuff.
right. Little Debbie, you get a lot more bang for your buck, but it's seasonal for sure. What's the best chips of all time?
Um, I'm pretty basic with chips. Like I do love flaming hot stuff. But honestly, right, like I really love the flaming hot and the spicy Dorito flaming hots are phenomenal. But there's
No.
also you can get the Cool Ranch flaming hots and those are phenomenal too. So
Yeah, those
probably
hit.
that either the spicy flaming hot or the Cool Ranch flaming hot. But yeah, those Doritos are fantastic.
Did you ever have the Doritos salsa in the red bag? There's verde and salsa.
I don't think I have had that.
Oh, late 90s. That's my jam. Cherry Coke or vanilla
Vanilla,
Coke?
absolutely vanilla Coke. I still drink that, but I get the Coke Zero version. There is a Coke Zero version vanilla Coke. They always only have like 5 or 6 12 packs at my Walmart, but they're not super popular here. So I usually just grab 2 or 3 of them every time I go. I'm a soda fanatic, if you haven't noticed.
Same. There's a bunch of soda questions. A&W Frosty Mug or a Mexican Coke?
Mexican Coke, excuse me. I'm not really big on those. Mexican Coke is phenomenal, and kind of Brandon turned me on to those because he was telling me to get them and try them, and he was telling me that the real sugar.
The real
Yeah,
sugar.
Mexican Coke is phenomenal.
So good. If you could bring back one soda from the dead, what would it be?
If I could bring Vault soda, and I'll tell you why. My brother drank it
Hit me.
religiously in high school, so I drunk it by osmosis. Like it was always in the house, so I would drink it. He used to get the cans, the bottles. I mean, drunk it religiously, and I remember it being somewhat Mountain Dewish, Sierra Mistish, but yeah, it had a
Sergi?
kick to it. But he loved it. I mean, he drunk it all the time, and so I because of that, it was always in the house. So I drank. Yeah, Vault, dude. I didn't realize it went away one day, and then it's like I completely forgot about it until one day I was on Reddit and I saw like a abandoned or like out of whatever it is sodas that went away, and I was looking through some, and when I saw Vault, it like hit me. I was like, oh my god, I literally hadn't thought about it
I
since it
remember
went
that.
away. So definitely that.
Yeah, my brother, we were talking about Surge and Vault this morning. Was going through some of these questions. Vault was good. It was here till like the early 2010s. It hung
Yeah.
around for a while. All right, well that was fun. Let's get into breaking down some films where they feel like you're hanging out with your friends over a few drinks. Your stuff is super relatable, it's informative, lots of passion. When did you think that this genre and YouTube were something that you were going to get into?
Good question. It has to be the night I saw Elm Street 2 for the first time.
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard this story, but I'll
probably, but I that's my favorite nightmare, so let's hear it.
so
Huge fan.
I was never a kid growing up. I was just a regular kid. Whatever was kind of popular, that's what I was just into. So, what was popular in the late 90s? Pokemon cards. Yeah, all day long. I was into that. What was popular in the early 2000s? WWF, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park. Into that. I played Madden with my friends on every system. Whatever we had wars on Madden '03. I mean, we went to war on that game. All that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I would see horror movies here and there, but like I wasn't watching My Bloody Valentine as a kid. I wasn't watching Madman as a kid. I wasn't watching Jason Goes to Hell as a kid. I would see the big stuff that would come out. One of those movies, like for instance, Jeepers Creepers was gigantic in 2001.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
everywhere.
And I don't know if people
Every
that are
fucking room.
younger than me realize just how big it was. Like it really because of the director and everything, it's not even that it's suppressed, but it's not in the forefront of the conversation. But when you look at movies during eras in 2001, I tell people, no, no, you don't understand how big I remember my teachers in school talking about it. It was gigantic. So I would see that. I would see stuff like that.
The big ones.
And then I go through Katrina, blah blah blah. I go to, I'm going through high school. Well, all of a sudden, my junior year of high school or senior year, I don't remember which one. My brother takes me to Spirit Halloween because he was gonna like do some party thing with his girlfriend at the time, and he was just going to get like a costume or something. And I was just walking in. I was going with him, and it was an inconspicuous thing. I go in the store and like this is when Jemmy had all the good animatronics still. I see this big Freddy. I see Ghostface because yeah, see no Ghostface wasn't there because I remember that was a few years later when they had the one for Scream 4 came out, they had that. I remember seeing Michael Myers, and this was the H2O one, and then I remember seeing the big Jason one. It was phenomenal. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I've ever really watched these movies. Like I don't know if I've ever sat down and watched them all. So that night we get home. My mom comes home from work. It's about 4:35. And I say, Mom, do me a favor. You work right next to Block. She was working at a school. She worked right next to a Blockbuster. I said, Mom, can you do me a favor? Can you pick up A Nightmare on Elm Street for me? This is 2008 or 9. I'll say 9 just to be safe. And she goes, no problem. And so the next day, I get off of school. I got home about an hour before my mom did. She comes home. I see she got a case in her hand, Blockbuster case. She goes, "Hey, Christian," and this is early October. I remember it was Halloween time, obviously, because Spirit was open,
Perfect.
and this is before Spirit opened up in the middle of August. This is when Spirit was basically open for a month, So we went right when it opened. But my mom was like, "Hey, Christian, I got part 2. Somebody had rented part 1. I hope that's not a problem." And I said, "I don't care." To me, the idea of seeing a sequel didn't, it was whatever. Dude, I get that. It's 9 o'clock at night. My mom and dad are going to bed. I'm just relaxing in my room. I decide to put it on. I put it in my PS2. I watched it. Dude, I'd never seen anything like that before. I mean, I really hadn't. I mean, even though it was an 80s movie and the thought of being creeped out by it now is kind of laughable, dude, I just, I never really saw movies like that before. And part 2 just, I got done. It was like 10:30, 10:45 at night. The scene where he bursts out at Jesse just, dude, it got me. I immediately got done and watched it right over again. And I thought about it all day the next day. Then I told my mom, and we had that card where basically you pay whatever a month, you just rent, we
Oh yeah,
swap
yeah.
them out. And I told my mom, I was like, get me all, just whatever ones they have, get them. And so I went back
Bring
and
them home.
saw the first one. Then I saw 3, 4, whatever. I went on and on. And like I watched all those. But the answer to your question is that night, because ever since that night, I have thought about horror in general since that night. I just
That's
knew I
awesome.
knew it was something I had never really been enamored like that before. Like I was into the stuff that was just always popular with my brother. UFC a couple years before, and Brock Lesnar showed up. I loved Brock Lesnar as a kid. We were watching that, and then just but that was the first time where I really found something on my own, right? Like and that was it for me. So ever since that night, dude, I knew I was never gonna just. It wasn't a phase, and it clearly hasn't been. Now this is 16
That's the
years
shit.
ago, so that was it.
So that was the very first horror movie that I ever seen. And it sounds strange. I had an older cousin. He was probably like 12. He locked me in his downstairs basement. I probably could have left and figured it out. And he played that on the little VHS. I think I was like 7. It was probably like 1990. And it scared me
Mm.
so bad. And then at that time, Freddy was on Tiny Toons. Like he was everywhere. And I just became obsessed like overnight because then he would show me them if I could hang out. He had girls over. I forget what's going on. He was older, but that's my favorite one. That's my first core memory of
Mm.
Freddy Krueger. So I love it so much.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad I found Freddy first because if not, if I hadn't had had fallen in love with the movie like I did that night, dude, I could have been like, this ain't for me.
That was
It
the one.
wasn't.
That's the movie.
I don't mean for it to sound like it's something that important, because it's not like I'm changing the world by any stretch by what I do on YouTube or anything. But
Right.
if it wasn't for that movie, there's a strong chance that I wouldn't have done YouTube. I wouldn't have been. I don't know what I'd have been doing right now. What I would have been into. It's crazy to
It's
think about,
crazy.
dude. But yeah, that movie, that was it for me. Changed everything.
That's so awesome. So one of my favorite things to talk about, especially when you guys talk music, that's my shit. So apart from horror, you're a massive Alice Cooper fan. I grew up. I found Alice Cooper because of Wayne's World. I bought his little cassette soundtrack. I had a little paper route. I'd walk, feed
Mm.
my Frankenstein. It's like my favorite song. Let's talk a little bit about the King of Shock and his impact on your life.
Oh, you want me to just tell you how I found Alice and became a fan?
Yeah,
So
man, hit me.
it's a little personal, but what
It's all good.
happened was, again, I having a brother that was a year and whatever months older than me. Like, my brother was a grade above me in school, so my mom had us back to back. But having a brother that was a grade above me, a lot of my influences came from him, and it's weird. It's like Alice was another thing that I found on my own. But when I was coming up in the early 2000s, my brother became a musician, and I did after that. And I would listen to the stuff he would listen to, and he got me into, at the time in the early 2000s, a lot of those bands that were big on Fused and MTV. We would start listening to um, bands like Seosin and bands like um, Taking Back Sunday and all that. And then, you know, he'd start listening to heavier music at the time, around this time. We might have even listened to this band on the way to that Spirit Halloween. He got into hardcore music. And so my brother showed me Bury Your
There you
Dead.
go.
And then he showed me what is still one of my favorite bands, called Bleeding Through, one of the best bands.
I fucking
Yeah, one of the
love
best
Bleeding
bands
Through.
I've ever heard in my life. Um there's a record with like a bleeding heart on the cover from 2004.
Is it? Is it? This is
I
love. This
think
is
that's in
murderous.
my top 5 records of all time. It's one of my favorite records I've ever heard.
I went. I went on that. I went on that tour. I met them. They opened for Danzig in
Oh,
L.A. It
dude.
was amazing. Anyway,
So
keep
yeah,
going.
he got me in. A lot of the stuff that I listened to and got into was him influencing me, and just me wanting to listen to what he listened to. And when he moved out of the house after college, I was still in nursing school and everything. And I had never really dug into different bands and stuff that I just wanted to listen to, because I liked a lot of the stuff that he was listening to. But is not trying to make this too dark, but around 2007 or 8, I was kind of a heavier kid, and so I started exercising, and I started losing some weight, and I also was just losing baby fat and stuff at the time. I was right in the middle of my teens. I did lose my baby fat for a while, but I kind of took it
Yeah.
to the extremes, and I got pretty bad anorexia, to be honest with you. And I kind of just dealt with that for years. My mom would always be like, you got to watch it, Christian, blah, blah, blah. And I would always, I struggled with it horribly up until about 2013, and my brother had moved out. He went to college. Actually, he went to college. He grad excuse me 2013, he graduated college, and he's a dentist now. And so what happened was, he had to go to the military because the military was paying for his school. So that was part of his deal. He went to dental school, or he finished his 4-year degree, went to the military, and then he was going to go to dental school when he got back. And so I was on my own, basically. My brother was always like, I was always with him growing up. And so, like, my anorexia basically hit a breaking point, and I got really, really sick. And I think I got the flu, and because I was so ill and skinny, like, I had to be hospitalized. And when I was in the hospital,
Oh man.
I'm almost done with this. There's a point to this.
Oh, you're fine.
When I was in the
Appreciate you
hospital,
sharing.
like I pretty much had a come to Jesus meeting with the doctors, and I got a little bit of psychiatry help, and I knew that like, I can't live like this. I've got to get control over it. Blah blah blah. Well, I remember a couple days after that, I was just trying to focus on, I got rid of all the scales in my house because that was what was killing me. Like, if I knew I could get down to a certain weight, that sort of thing. But I remember I think I was already dating my wife at the time. I just met her or something, and I was like, we were going somewhere, and I just happened to put on a T-shirt that I had, and I had got this shirt from Hot Topic. It was called the Gruesome Twosome Tour with Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper, and I was a
Uh-huh.
big Rob Zombie fan at that point because I mean, growing up, he was huge, so of course I was a big fan of him. But I was wearing the shirt, and I kind of just was like, I don't know if I've ever really listened to Alice. Like, I know some of his songs. Of course, you can't be on planet Earth without knowing them, but I never really listened to him.
You hear him.
Maybe a couple days after that, I went on LimeWire, which I don't even know if it's still around anymore. But I basically downloaded his entire discography up till that point, and I started from the first record, and I started watching interviews with him, and I started listening to him talk, and I started learning about him, and it was like a saving grace. Like I fell in love with his music, and I remember listening to, um, I got to like Constrictor top to bottom, and I was like, oh shit, that was Alice on Friday the 13th. Like, I watched the movie, of course, but I didn't realize who that was. I love the song. And dude,
Yeah.
I literally just like his music, the sound of it, listening to it just made me feel good. And the person is amazing. I always tell people like the thing I even love more about his music is him. Like, he really is he's a good
He's the man.
guy. He's the man, and he's my hero till day. He still inspires me. He's 77. He moves like he's 30. He sounds great. He doesn't quit. He's my hero. And so like his music really, it came in my life literally. It's the same exact thing with Freddie. That night I saw Freddie, like, dude, Alice's music literally got me out of my funk and got me just going. So until this, I listen to him once a week. No matter what, I always find time to listen to him. So
That's awesome. Dude. I caught him last year with Rob, and he opened that night of the tour, which is kind of a bummer. I've seen Rob so many times, but he just completely upstaged him. Way more energy. It was like 15 songs. Anyway, I've
nobody
seen him a couple
outperforms
times.
Alice.
It was a shame. Outdoor venue, September. It should have been Alice
Yeah.
headlining, but
Hmm.
I fucking love Alice Cooper. Anyway, yeah, awesome person, amazing, sweet. Well, let's move on to let's talk about music for a second. Like your music, you play a lot of instruments. It seems. Which one is your favorite to play?
Definitely bass. And like when it comes to being in bands, playing live, I'm a bass player. Like I play guitar, I can play drums, but if you ask me like what are you? My answer is I'm a bass player. And
Bass
that's
player.
what I play. Like when I play with band, I've
Um,
played guitar in bands. I hate it. I love playing bass live. I love being in control. I study my drummers. I listen to that kick. Yeah, I love
locking
listening
in
to
with
that
them.
kick and just punching with them. And luckily the drummer I have in my band, he's really good, and we know how to do that together, and you know that separates the boys from the men, man. When you got a rhythm section that when my fingers know what his feet are doing, dude, you know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
I know what you're saying. That's a special 1-2 punch. Like people, yeah, let them take breaks. Let the drummer and bass play. So you're picking songs to cover. Do you? What's the inspiration for that? Is it just songs you've heard in movies that you dig, or how do you
Kinda,
pick them
yeah. I
out?
mean, that's pretty much it. Like, um, it's funny. Sometimes I cover them, and I don't make any money off of it. Of course, it's not like I can, or that that many people are really listening to it. But like for instance, I love the show Holliston and that song "Get a Job" by Pig. I love listening to that song. It's not on
It's a great
Spotify.
song.
It's not on iTunes. So I covered it just so there could be a version up on there. Um,
Isn't that
it's in
song
Black
in
Sheep
Black
too.
Sheep too? And the fucking Seattle band's playing it.
Oh, there you go.
Mudhoney.
I didn't know that.
I'm from Seattle, but
But
yeah,
like, yeah, and like the
that's a great
first one I
song.
did was Children of the Night from Maniac Cop 2, and I just thought it was a great song. And I was like, I can try it, but I gotta, his Buddy Miles' voice in that is literally insane. So I mean, I drop it down a full step and a half. So I'm playing it much, much lower, but it's okay. And but people seem to enjoy it. And I was like, I want to have intros to it really did start out like I want to have music to the intros, but like why not make it like everybody just, and no disrespect. I mean, I get it. Not everybody is a musician and they have the ability to do this, but everybody kind of just downloads these kind of like intro synth stuff for the intros of their shows. And I don't go out of my way to say, "Oh, I got to be different." But I'm like, dude, I'm a musician. Why not like try to do something? You have a ability,
Yeah.
you have an opportunity to put something out there. Well, at least some people will hear a few seconds of it at least, because if they click on your live stream, they'll hear. That's really how it started. And I was like, well, let me cover stuff and do stuff because I'm not great at writing music. I try. I'm very good at taking an idea you bring me and working on it, which I'm good at that, and
Okay.
that's how I do a lot of stuff in my band. But and I do write my own music, and I put some of it out that is kind of punk oriented. That's kind of stuff I can write okay that I do. But I love doing covers because I want to just do stuff that I want people to enjoy hearing, and especially like if they're horror fans. That's why I'll cover Fright Night, and that's why I'll cover You Can't Hide from the Beast Inside and Children of the Night because it's fun, and I think if people enjoy it, then awesome. You know.
Children of the Night has kind of become like your WWF entrance song. Like you nail that song. The best part is when you're stretching your voice, the second verse, where you're trying to hit that scream. That that's a great
Thank
fucking
you.
part of that song. I'll just rewind that. Like I love that
That was a lot
fucking
of
that
that was a lot of
hook.
takes, and I recorded that with the SM7B for vocals. It's actually
Okay.
I made it a really since you're a musician, I'll just nerd you for a second. Like the mix on that, I made the
Hit
mix
me.
like I wanted it to sound gigantic, and so
It,
there's like 4 or 5 lead tracks. So I did a lot of layering on the dun 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 dun. Like that's for 4 or 5 good.
like
Yeah,
two on
but
each
then like the
side.
rhythm track is panned 70/30 to the left, but I maxed out the reverb. So
Okay.
it's one guitar track, but if you listen close in the headphones,
It's
it's
washing
completely
over.
washed. And that's how I get that really massive cathedral sound. So
It's a
right,
Boston kind of
right. Yeah,
sound.
yeah, perfect. Perfect. That's a perfect way to describe it. So that's how I kind of mix that, the way I went for that. Because if I try to
That's
do
cool.
like if I just
Okay.
layer to me it kind of gets boxy sounding. I didn't want it to be boxy sounding, so I was like, well, you can't also put too much reverb if you do too much layering on your rhythm stuff. So that's why I just went with that. It's one rhythm track, but it's super reverbed and just it sounds like a huge wall. So it worked out okay.
It does instead of having multiple harmonies, it can get muddy. That's the blend is really good on that song. I dig it. Any really cool like standout gigs or favorite memories on stage since we're right here?
For like sets like with my band or playing with bands or
Yeah, either or.
yeah, dude, I've played with Trapped, I've played with Saliva, uh Taproot, I played with them. Hell yeah. Got to meet Vinnie Paul. I used to be in a band called Notaway, and we were signed to like a little indie label where we went to Atlanta for 2 weeks. We recorded with Clint Lowry. We actually had Corey Lowry do
Okay.
a solo on one of our songs. It was a great experience, and we had the opportunity to go on tour with Taproot. This was 2011. It didn't work out. That's when we learned the hard way that you don't really make money going on tours. You almost have to buy your way onto the tour. And it kind of broke up the
Do
band after that because we were all just kind of like screw this business. This is ridiculous. So, but anyway, I had a great time. But I will say that the singer from Trapped really is as bad as people think he is. He was a prima donna. He was horrible to be around. Uh, but I've also had great, like Taproot was probably one of the coolest bands I've ever seen. They were the chillest, friendliest guys, totally professional. Saliva were POSs. I can't even lie to you. They did not want to share the stage with anybody. They hogged the stage when they backlined. They set the drums in the middle of the stage, literally the middle of the stage.
Oh,
But I had a lot of good times. So I think it's probably. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. We actually had some pretty big gigs for a while, but my band I'm in now is the best band I've ever been in, man. I can't even lie. But a lot of us are the same age, and we've just been musicians for years now. I mean, most of us, my singer Caleb and me, we've been musicians for at least 20 years. I've been playing since 2004, so 21 years.
you got that
And
seasoning.
so is Caleb. Me and him are the same age. My guitar player, he's a few years younger than us, but he's better than all of us. And my drummer Colby, I went to school with him. He's been a drummer. We did drumline together in high school. We've all been musicians for 20 plus years now. We've all been in bands for a long time. So we're a good band, but we should be. I'm not saying that to brag, but no, we should be. We've been musicians for 20 years.
You've been
There's no
doing it for a
excuse why
long
we
time.
shouldn't be pretty good at what we do. So honestly, I'm just enjoying playing with the band I'm in right now because we write, I'm proud of the music we write, and we stay busy, man. We get paid to play now, which is good. I'm old enough to where I just refuse to play for free unless it's for charity or like a fundraiser. But no, dude, I'm not playing for free no more.
That's awesome. Give me beers or something. Come on. So let's transition a little bit to some movie stuff. So let's say you're having people over in my house, my friends come over and there's like a top 5. I pick a couple, my brother, best friends or whatever. If you're hosting a movie night, what's in your stack of, because you've had so many titles back there just in that room. What's in that stack of like
Definitely
must-sees?
Necromantic 1 and 2. It's funny. It's like I would do that just to gag people out. Like I'll be like, all right, guys, so we're gonna watch the Necromantics, and like if they never heard of it, I'll be like, we're gonna watch Necromantic.
It's on 16 millimeter.
We're gonna watch Necromantic, then we're gonna follow it up with Suckling, followed by a Serbian film, and then we're gonna finish it off with Cannibal Holocaust.
Poughkeepsie. Boom.
No, what is my, like, if I'm having friends over, what do I want them to watch? Or was that the question? Or
Yeah, it's like, because sometimes I feel a responsibility to a friend group. If I don't show them this, they're never going to see it. And sometimes it's like a burden that I feel like I need to show them something.
I gotcha. Okay, like if I'm doing it seriously, I would definitely do Return of the Living Dead, since that's my favorite movie. I gotta do Return of the Living Dead. That's a good question. Like I'm trying to, I don't want to, I'm trying to be responsible with my answer, because like if I was taking it seriously, honestly, dude, I'd probably throw in stuff that just kind of matches my personality and the stuff I love. I do Return of the Living Dead. I'd want to show them like the stuff, maybe the Blob, which I know that's kind of like that right there is a double feature in and of itself.
That's a great double feature.
Honestly, I'd probably put on the Night of the Living Dead remake. And
yeah,
that's
a great party movie.
It's a great party movie. It's so good. I can't wait for that 4K, that director's cut at that. What else, man? I might throw him with a little Italiano. Give him some zombie, man. Let him see some zombie.
Fulci action.
I have had, like, my guitar player has watched Return of the Living Dead. He said his wife hated it, but he loved it. So there's that.
That's about par for the course. So then, speaking of that, you're kind of known for showing love, and I love them too. you champion a lot of so bad sequels to a lot of people. Of those bad B movies, do you always give them kind of like a fair shake? Where do you draw the
So
line?
that's a good
What
question,
started
and I
that?
think there needs to be a distinction made. What I like to do is tell the story of those sequels, why they are the way they are, and how they are that way. My favorite videos I've ever done in my life. If you've seen these, awesome. If not, please watch them. I'm very proud of them. Is the story of Return of the Living Dead, Necropolis, and Rave to the Grave. That's where I found. That's where I
I
found a
did watch those.
passion for telling. Because what happened was, like, it's a running joke. Everybody says, "Oh, it's a trilogy." There's only 3 Return of the Living Dead films. When in actuality, no, there's not. There's 2 more. And I have a book. It's called Return of the Living Dead: The Complete History, written by Gary Smart. I have it right over there. And when you know it, in the book, they interviewed the actors, William Butler, who wrote the movies, this Necropolis, Rave to the Grave, in that book. And I started reading about it. My jaw hit the floor. William Butler wrote an amazing screenplay that was going to be the next big movie. But guess what happened? Resident Evil happened. So the script
Ooh.
he had didn't get bought by the company that was going to buy it. And then this other company bought it that was a cheapo company. And they said, well, we're going to give you a budget for a movie, but it's got to be split into these 2 movies. You're going to make 2 movies, split it. And then it's going to go straight to TV, and Sci-Fi picked it up. And you have you have a couple of months to get all this stuff done. And you have to film the second one all the way in, I forgot the country, Romania or something. And it was a crazy
Damn.
story. And so what people see is a finished product, but they don't know what happened. It was insane behind the scenes of what happened. So that's where I like to, I don't try to pretend that these movies are more than what they are, but I really have a passion about saying, why did this movie come out like this? It's got the name Return of the Living Dead on it. That should be quality. What happened?
How did
So
this?
that's where I
Yeah.
really find a passion. That's where I really found, why is nobody telling these stories? And I was like, well, why can't I do it? So that's when I was like, I'm going to talk about this. I want to do this stuff. So that's what I think I want to do. Whether I come across like I'm trying to, tell the story, or more so than just being, oh, I love this movie. That's a fair criticism, but that's what I'm really after is, why do these movies turn out like this?
That definitely comes across on the screen. Like you have such an admiration, and it's cool. Like you get into the backstory, changes how you feel about a movie that people don't know. Like that probably happens more than you think with the sci-fi. And I love a lot of those horrible movies to most people, but I'm like, I kind of
Mm-hmm.
love it. So that's always cool that you go deep on some of that stuff. Oh, quick take. You're on a road trip. Some of your like road trip vlogs are super fun to watch, depending whether you're showing off something you bought or you're just, sometimes it's on Instagram. If you have to stop at a gas station, what's your go-to snack and drink situation? And how long can you drive before you're like, fuck it, man, I gotta
Long
stop?
time. So before I have the job I have now, I worked in the oil field, and I was driving. I would do once every week and a half. I was doing 10.5 hour hot shots to Houston. And I'm talking, I get
Damn.
called at 3 in the morning. Hey, be at the shop at 5, load up this 2-inch valve, load up, blah, 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 and just head to Houston. And what Houston really meant was Beeville, Texas. And that was down the road from Houston. I mean, I was basically at the border. But I would get those rides over with. I'd piss in the bottle. I'm not stopping. I was doing, but no, I could drive for a while. I'll tell you what I've been, dude. I'm gonna tell you. This is kind of like a lame-o answer, but
It's all good.
I, the older I get, I start to get to where, and it's not good, but I get to where if I just get behind a wheel and I start driving, especially on the interstate, I'll just get tired. Like I get chronically tired whenever I get behind the wheel of a car. I don't know why. So whenever if me and the wife are going into town, and when I mean town, like the big city near us, like a 30-minute ride, 45-minute ride, I stop at the Circle K, and they got the cappuccino machines, and they have a fat-free caramel
Ooh,
cappuccino, or they have a fat-free um, French vanilla. That's what I was thinking of. Dude, I get that. It's hot, it's sweet, and to me, it's just like the caffeine is good, but drinking something that's really hot, it like spikes me, keeps me alert, keeps me up. I love
yeah.
those. I get those now. I used to always just get Monster Energy drinks, but I am really digging those cappuccinos. Like, if you haven't tried them, just give them a shot. Dude, the French vanilla, it just tastes so good, and it's hot, really hot. I get that. As far as snacks go, dude, to me, I was having a conversation with a buddy about this. The best candy bar on earth is to me is the Reese's Fast Break. I love those.
That's a
I get
that's
those. I
good.
get a cappuccino, a Reese's Fast Break, and I'm good to go. I'll get you down the road, dude.
You're not like a beef jerky, busted ass
No,
hot
I
dog
do love.
roller,
So
lava chicken.
good point. I think everybody gets a Slim Jim or some, but
You have to.
they started selling that stuff at work, like in the vending machines. So I get them every now and again, and it kind of null and voids my desire to get them at the gas station. But before that, yeah,
I feel you.
I got the Tabasco flavored jerky stick, which nobody seems to like those. I love the Tabasco flavor.
There's like a flaming hot one that's actually really good. Um,
I have to look
they
for that
make
if
them
they
in
have a
so many
flaming hot
crazy
version.
flavors now. It's good. It's really good. It doesn't get hot, but it's pretty tasty. So we talked a little Freddy's too. Let's talk being from the South, supernatural energy. Um, my wife was born in Covington.
No
We
shit.
go to Louisiana. Yeah. She's in Oregon, so it was just by chance. I've always been obsessed with New Orleans. I don't know if it was Pantera, Interview with the Vampire. I don't know. Something about that country just drew. Anyway, when I found out she was from New Orleans, I was lucky enough. I get to go there. Um, what's it like being down there? What do you think it is that makes it? I just feel there's like this weird supernatural energy.
Well, I mean,
I
as you
love it.
know, yeah, there's definitely energy there. The thing is, it's like I could give you just like the normal answer, like, of course, there's no place on earth like it, blah blah blah. But the thing is, dude, like, I don't go anymore, and the reason is because the New Orleans I know and the life I know and the way I remember it, I can never do that again because of Katrina. I mean, I lived in
Yeah,
St. Bernard Parish. So if you're looking at Louisiana on a boot,
shit.
like you're looking on a map, I am the toe of the boot. I am by the water.
You're down there.
I mean, literally, like you couldn't get lower than me. They called Violet the end of the world, the town right by where my uncle lived. I mean, it was at the bottom of the boot. I was below all that. Covington, Mandeville, I was on the bottom side of Lake Pontchartrain. So when Katrina
Way
hit
down
in
there.
2005, yeah, I mean, the life I had, dude, the farther away I get from it, sometimes I get chills thinking about it because it was such this amazing life I had and the atmosphere and everything. And the farther away I get, it feels like it was just like did it happen? It's one of those things like did that like
It's crazy.
dude, I mean, we had Mardi Gras every in February that we know we'd go to my grandma's house and she lived right off of Judge Perez Highway. We'd pull in, we'd park the truck in the Ace Hardware right off of Judge Perez, which is the main road. We had the Mardi Gras, all the floats would come down, we'd catch beads, have fun. Um, I remember going to WWF Royal Rumble in 2001 with my family. It was insane. Monster truck racing was
Love that.
huge. We had the Brass AAA Hockey League, which is it was amazing. I became a huge hockey fan because of that. We had the Zephyrs, which was a baseball team, AAA baseball, but it was like it was like it felt like pro baseball because it was huge stadiums that they played at. We had Jazzland, which they just tore it down too, believe it or not.
The
Yeah, and
amusement
it's so
park.
funny, dude. In my living room, my wife, I don't, she had it, not me, which is even weirder because she's not from New Orleans. She's actually from Texas, but my wife has a glass Coke bottle that says Jazzland May 21st open 2000 opening weekend. We have it in our living room, and that's the way I know it because what happened was the last year it was a Six Flags. Six Flags bought it and redesigned the park and stuff. But to me, it's always going to be Jazzland because that's what it was when they opened it. Like I had all that, man, and Katrina hit in 2005. I had 20 feet of water in my subdivision. My whole subdivision was underwater.
Jesus.
We'd go. I remember I finally got to visit maybe end of like late fall 2005, and dude, there's just devastation doesn't begin to describe it. Neighbors to my left dead, neighbors to my right dead, because every year a storm was going to hit. So
Oh
people
yeah.
would not stop evacuating. It became so routine that a storm was going to hit us and nothing would ever happen. We would luck out.
I got
We would
goosebumps.
luck out for
Oh,
so long.
it's
The
crazy.
last one that really hit, I think, was Betsy, and that was in like the 60s where it really hit New Orleans. So it was so routine. People stopped taking storm warnings seriously. But Katrina, something felt weird. I remember something felt off about Katrina. My parents were visibly nervous, so we got the hell out of there. We had a camper because my parents loved to camp. So we evacuated and all that. Of course, my grandparents did too, and my uncle did, and we were all together. But man, I remember my dad was friends with a cop, and he actually got to go into the subdivision a week and a half after the storm, where the water finally went away. My dad was white as a ghost when he came back. He kept waking up in the middle of the night. We were living in a camper too. He would just wake up in the middle of the night, and I was like, "Dad, you okay?" And he's like, "Hey, don't worry about it, son. Oh yeah, 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 yeah." Finally, I got to like I asked him about it years later. You got to remember, the public was not. You could like this the St. Bernard Parish was closed off. It was technically a crime scene. Like people could not go into the subdivision, but my dad got in because he was friends with a cop. He called up his cop buddy. He goes, "We'll get in. We'll get into the subdivision." My dad's, and he doesn't really talk
Jesus.
about it, but my dad's like he saw stuff. He
This
saw
is
I think he probably saw bodies in homes. Like it was
I'm
bad.
sure.
He did take pictures, but he would only let me look at a few. Like alligators, snakes all over the place because you remember it was New
Oh.
Orleans, man. It was the bayou. It was 60% of what
Yeah.
Waterboy's mom's house looked like. It wasn't that extreme, but it was 60% of that. I mean, we used to go gar fishing in the backyard. Like that was yeah, we used to go
Gars are
gar fishing.
nasty.
So when you ask what is New Orleans like, I going down there post Katrina, it's like it's gorgeous and it's really come back to life. But dude, it's almost like an Interstellar. I'm behind the bookshelf, and the New
That's
Orleans I
crazy.
know, I can't experience that. It will never be the same. That life died. So I'm behind the bookshelf.
Yeah, when we go, we like to stay in Slidell. Her family, her brother was in Baton Rouge. He was on the roof. That's how she moved to
Yeah,
Oregon. Was
she's smart.
Katrina.
She got the hell up.
Um,
Not that she didn't get the hell out. She
yeah,
got the hell up.
and her family's they're in Bogalusa, Crossroads, Mississippi. So they're kind of like
Yeah, they're
up
they're
on the
above sea
border,
level.
like
Yeah.
pretty far. Yeah. God, there's something about that area. I don't know if it's the hurricanes, the
Oh, dude, the
voodoo,
culture.
something,
Yeah,
but
the culture is
I just love it.
amazing. Especially, dude, it was. I mean, they had the. I remember like they had like a mall right pretty much on Bourbon Street in that area, and I remember they had that Warner Brothers store with those big golden statues of Mickey and yeah, of Bugs Bunny and stuff. That Warner Brothers store was amazing. I'm sure people that are at least my age remember those, but you know, beignets, Cafe Du Monde, used to get those all the time. You know, it
Oh yeah.
was it was. I had an amazing childhood. I but when I think about it, I almost because I don't have any pictures, obviously, lost all of it. So I when I think about it, it's like a liminal space. Like I think about it and it's like, did I really live that? Did it actually happen? I have nothing to show that it happened. Nothing.
How old were you?
So Katrina hit in 2005. I was born in early '92, so I was 14. something like that. It was
All
yeah,
your
yeah. I
friend
mean, dude,
group.
when I think about it, I get chill bumps because my it was so insane how life used to be compared to what it was after. You know,
Got an old soul, man.
to a fault, I do. Yeah,
God.
you know.
That's crazy shit. Yeah, I had goosebumps. You're telling that story. God. My wife, she's a little crazy, but she's from there. So, I mean, I love her to death, but you don't fuck with a Southern woman. They're just, they,
Oh no, dude.
they get it. Best cooks, great music taste. Wild. Wild. Okay. Try
Oh,
to
I know,
segue
dude.
from
If you
that.
ask me a question, you're gonna get the real deal.
Man, I love it. So I was listening to another stream. You were talking to, I think you were talking about Pizzelle or something, but you were saying how in the beginning, when you would see people doing things that you like, you would just ask them, like, hey, man, how'd you do that? What were some things that you wanted to know? Like, because when you first start, if people that want to start a channel, there's no rules, there's no branding, there's no blueprint. It's for better or worse, just you. So what kind of questions do you have in the beginning? And then how has that kind of evolved?
Yeah. So one of the things that I don't have a problem doing, and I don't know if people don't like doing this on mass, and I'm the outlier, but when I knew I wanted to try to start doing YouTube videos, which back then just having a video on the platform felt like the biggest accomplishment on earth. Now it's like everybody's just like, I got 100 subs. I did this. Like I remember back then, the idea of getting 100 subs was like insane. That's how crazy that was back
I
then.
bet.
But I remember in the beginning, like I'd start putting videos up, and at that point, everybody just used their cell phone and put stuff up. But as like a year or two went by, people that I really enjoyed watching and liked, I would see how they did it. And like their stuff would look way better than mine. Their stuff would sound better than mine. And I always was like, you can only learn by asking questions. You don't learn nothing when you don't ask. So people that I looked up to, like Piz, I would say, Piz, so, like, what do you have that little mic plugged up to that you have on your shirt? Where does that go? He goes, well, this is a lav mic. This plugs up to this. Or I would ask other people, it's like, hey man, your video looks really good. I love how like the background is a little out of focus where it's like it almost looks like a movie. How are you doing that? Oh, well, this is called aperture. And the way you do this is you set your focus, blah, blah, blah. This is the kind of camera I have. And I would ask questions and I would learn along the way. Piz, I remember when Piz was the first person I saw that had a high quality microphone. And I was like, Piz, what kind of mic is that? And he would tell me. I was like, how do you power that? And I didn't bug him that much, but like if I'd look at him and I would see how he's improving and doing stuff. And my whole thing when I tell people this is like, you know, you're not trying to just copy somebody, but there's nothing wrong with learning and asking questions and improving your own stuff. So I would ask, dude, if I see anybody, I don't care who it is, they could be a brand new YouTube channel with no views, no comments, no subs. I don't give a rat's ass about that. But if I think their stuff looks really good, I got questions.
How
Yeah,
you
I want
doing
to
that?
learn. I don't necessarily want to copy you, but I want to learn new techniques. I want to learn how are you doing that? I remember that's when I found Brandon, you know, when I found Brandon, that was how we became friends. Was I just thought his stuff looked insane. I was like, dude, what are you using? Why that looks really good. How are you doing this? How are you doing that? And that's how we became friends. Because dude, that's how I am. If I see stuff I like or I think looks and sounds good, I want to ask because I want to learn.
Just reach out.
And I think maybe people get the sense that like, oh god, this guy's just gonna no, but I don't want to copy you. But I am all about learning. I love filming. I love making stuff look good. I love making stuff sound good. I love doing different techniques. I love experimenting. So, dude, I ask questions, and ultimately, that's
I
how I
love it.
get to know people and become friends with them. Like Brandon's a great example of that. Like my friendship with Brandon all started off because I was like, dude, how did you how did you film it like that? And he was like, well, you got to get a certain kind of lens and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, a friendship blossoms from that, dude. So that's how I am, man. I'm very inquisitive. I ask probably too many questions, you know?
That's how you keep learning, man. So, you've been here for a long time. What kind of advice, and I'm sure you've gotten that question a ton of times, where if you're going to start this racket, besides just being yourself, I mean, what keeps you motivated? What can you tell the people to kind of keep going?
It's a good question. Like for instance, if somebody was just going to ask me, should I do YouTube? My answer would always be, well, of course, because clearly you have a desire to do it. And the beauty is, it doesn't cost you a penny to start. Uh, it's interesting. And I really don't mean to say this to diminish anybody that started YouTube in the last 5 or 6 years. I really don't. I'm glad that everybody's, and now look, the cream always rises. The people that are entertaining their audience and working hard, they will always do good. But I don't know, and this is really more so to the people that quit and give up and start bitching and complaining. I don't think people realize how difficult it was to gain a sub in 2012 and 13 on YouTube. It was very difficult. You had to slowly earn it. And I mean slowly earn it. And when I was doing it back then, dude, I would go weeks at a time with being at 38 subs, and it could be a month before I hit 39. And nowadays, like
Yeah.
there's so much lust and love for horror and finding channels, and there's a lot of people that are great, and that's why I say the cream will always rise. But now it's like there's the horror world is so massive. I'm not saying everybody's just their channel's just gonna explode, but it's easier to get going and gets a little bit of traction. So my first thing is like, you know, never complain, never look at somebody else's channel and say, well, they're doing better. Well, I had a moment like that, but that was for a different reason. Um,
That's really
think,
hard not to
yeah,
do when you're trying.
think about what you want to do. Think about what would be fun to do. Because if it's not fun, don't do it. And talk about the stuff you just love. My whole thing I've learned is, dude, like nothing is really that nerd. Nothing is too nerdy for YouTube. If I think a Halloween movie ticket for Rob Zombie's film is interesting enough for me to want to talk to somebody about, I'll do a video about it. Whatever you genuinely love and want to talk about, just do it. Ultimately, my channel started to grow when I started having fun because it's like I am genuinely loving making these kinds of videos and doing these YouTube shorts and get out the rat race. Yeah, it's important to cover stuff. And that's another thing. I used to be like, oh, I'm not going to do that because everybody's doing that. But, I kind of changed my mind on that. Like, if something happens, do you have an opinion on it? Okay, you do. Well, just share your opinion. Like, for instance, um, the other day, we got wind that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is pretty much up for bid. Everybody wanted to talk about that. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, I do have an opinion on that. Well, Christian, just do a video about it. And so I did. And you never know, stuff like that can help because it's hot topics. People can be looking for that. And then maybe your video shows up and you find your
And they
video.
find you though.
Have good audio. You have to have something. Use some kind of external microphone. That is the most important thing. But literally, I swear, don't try to be like another channel. That doesn't mean if somebody reviews movies and they do it a certain way, like, man, I love how they stand up and they do their video reviews and they're not sitting down like everybody else does. Okay, well, you can stand up too. But do the video in your style. Do it how you naturally would. And what you're going to learn is as you do videos and as you continue to do stuff, your natural personality on camera. Because listen, it's true that you got to be yourself on camera, but you have an on camera personality. Whether anybody wants to admit it or not, you have
It
an
turns
on
on.
camera personality. And once you continue to do that, it becomes more natural. And then, that's ultimately what will keep people watching you. And because my thing is this, if you're consistent and you continue to do videos and listen, here's another thing. If you do something that people like, give them more of it. Experimentation is very important. Never be afraid to try different stuff. But if you see that something just literally isn't working at all, stop beating your head against the wall. That's another thing I learned.
You got
But if
analytics.
you do something that
Yeah, you
people
got.
like, give them more of it. And God knows I love doing that because I'm here to serve. I love doing videos. And if I remember when I started doing DVD stuff, I was like, I don't know if people love it. It's usually my highest viewed stuff.
Oh,
And I have
it's
a great
great.
time doing it. So, everybody, you're going to find what works for you and you're going to build your audience. And it's fun. And you're going to make friends. If you have fun, I swear to God, it's going to be the most fruitful thing you put your time into. And you have the ability to make a little bit of money with ad revenue, So, uh, anybody that's listening, if you've thought about doing it, literally start right now. There's no, I mean, there is a learning curve, but there's nothing stopping you. And you'll figure it out.
You'll
It's just
figure it out.
like, you know, but you get out of it what you put into it. And I had to learn that the hard way. And that's when I remember I had a crisis in 2021. I nearly quit. Oh, I was so close to quitting, but that's pretty much it. That's my advice, you know.
That's great. Yeah, there'll be days, man, where you'll just be, this isn't working, or I've lost motivation. I want to talk about Rocky 3 today, or whatever, and then you'll say something on a podcast in front of people, and you'd be like, I found my motivation. You just go to the shelf. So I always appreciate getting those little tidbits. That was like scripture right there.
That's
That's
it.
what to do. So I'm having the best
Good.
time. Dude, quickly, you're a big supporter of mental health and exercise. You find inspiration when you run? You've said you listen to podcasts. I think exercise is so important too. That's usually when I do, like when I'm preparing stuff for the evening, I'm on the bike or the treadmill doing something, getting ready.
Let me tell you, dude, like, to me, you have to move for 30 minutes a day. I don't care who you are. You have to do something physical for 30 minutes. I have people that I know in my life. And first off, of course, this doesn't apply to every person. But there are people I know. Oh, I got no motivation. I don't feel right. Like, I don't want to blah, blah, blah. And I'd say, well, what have you done? Just let me know. What have you done today? Well, nothing. I said, why don't you get up and just throw some shorts on, put your earbuds on, just go walking, go jogging. Don't you live next to a park?
Go get a
Go out and
coffee,
do it. And they're
something.
like, oh. Exercise literally filtrates your body. When you get your blood pumping, it gets your endorphins going. It's literally cleaning your system. Nobody exercises and then mentally feels worse when they're done. You feel
Ever.
good. Your body is literally healing itself when you exercise. It is literally healing itself. It is a form of dialysis when you get your blood pumping. Every day I do that. I look forward to it. I love my jogs. I just did Mark Hoppus's autobiography over the last 3 days on my runs. It was a great
Nice.
I mean, I just listened to it. I get lost in it. I get that runner's high. Billy Corgan just interviewed Paul Stanley today. That was today's listen on his podcast. So,
Oh, I gotta listen to that.
um, and dude, music sounds fucking amazing when are you kidding me? Like, music just sounds so good when you're exercising. Like, it's so important for me. Like, I don't feel good if I don't exercise. If I skip a day, I feel like shit, you know?
The
And
worst.
I think it's just so important. It literally heals your body to exercise, like, literally. Like, of course I get in bad moods and I can be snippy, but for the most part, dude, I'm always ready to go. I wake up, I have my coffee, I eat my lunch, I come home. I sometimes now I'm just on day shift, so a lot of times now I eat my dinner before I go run. But the point is, I go running, I get done after an hour, man, I feel good. I'll come in here. Tonight I'm taking the night off from filming because we're doing this, but like, usually I'll come in here. I'll get with the wife for a little bit, and I'll be all right. I'm gonna go get some stuff done, and I go to bed. And like, dude, like I've gotten a lot of stuff done. I've exercised, dude. It's so good for my mental, like literally, it's so good for your mental health,
It
and it's
cleans your
like you
mental
are
health.
literally healing your body when you get that blood pumping. So I can't stress enough how important it is. I would be miserable if for some reason I couldn't run anymore or anything, dude. So it's vastly important to your everyday life. Do something for 30 minutes every day. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, do something. Just take, yeah,
DDP yoga. There's
it
all kinds
really
of
is.
shit.
And I'm not in great shape. I'm in passable shape. I'm not embarrassing to look at naked. So like, and that's but my thing is it's more so it makes me feel good. It clears my head. My brain feels healthy. Exercise is vital to your mental health. Vital more than anything else, in my opinion.
100%. You always, sometimes you'll capture that because people in the chat will be complaining and you'll just kind of throw that in there. And I'm like, man, that's
Yeah,
like the key to life. Just a little bit goes a long
that's
way
right.
for the rest of your day. It's nuts, man. So I don't want to keep you
I'm good.
forever.
Ask whatever you want, dude. You
Um,
got me.
all right, man. So what's your huge, your Friday the 13th collection is out of control. The bust that you have, like, what's your favorite Friday movie? Does it change? I guess you could give me a top three. You're going to a desert island. Which one are you bringing with you?
So my number one doesn't change, but I'm proud to say that the original has skyrocketed with me over the years. I'm
Same.
looking at my poster right now. I'm actually going to see it Friday, 45th anniversary. I can't
Eight
wait.
o'clock.
Um,
That's awesome.
so my top three would have to be the part four, which I think is possibly the greatest slasher film ever made.
Oh
One
yeah.
of them. Um, part one and probably two. But I mean, dude, it's like it's like yes, I can rank them, but at the same time, like if I literally love all of them. Like they're
They're like an
all
old
like
friend.
like, and every one has that has like you can get a certain flavor out of each one. You can't if you watch 10 seconds of one, you cannot mistake it for the other, with the exception of one and two, because those are the only two Friday movies that feel the same. The rest of them all feel very
They do.
unique, which also kind of makes two unique in its own right because it's the only one that feels like part one. But I mean, dude, like the I really as I got older and I started getting into Italian flicks and I started getting into movies that are just they surround the room when you turn the lights out and you just crank it up and you let the ambience and you let the sound creep out. That's when I became a
Yeah.
bigger fan of part one. I don't think, yeah, I think part one is the original Friday the 13th is a classic. I don't want to use the word masterpiece, but I definitely think it is a genuine classic. And it
It
gets
gets
better. It,
better.
it really does. I think it's the only one that genuinely gets better with age. And here's the thing I can say:
It's
for
a
a
vibe, man.
movie to have that much tension without even remotely knowing who the killer is very impressive.
Even just in the room with the snake, it just keeps
I
compounding
I, I
interest,
I think
man.
it is a classic, and I love it. But like, that's my top three. But like, dude, we could talk about Jason Takes Manhattan all day. We could talk about Part Seven, which like I'm such a nerd, dude. Like I've done videos on special features on some of them. Like Part Seven had this crazy psychiatrist guy and this weird and no,
Dr.
like there's a
Cruz.
special feature on part 7. I did a
Oh
video
shit,
on
shit.
this and people seem to enjoy it. I was like, have you guys ever put on the special features for part 7 where they got a parapsychologist to talk about telekinesis? And I was like, no, really, it's a parapsychologist on the special features, and then they got a psychic guy that's on at the television star from California to talk. And like I broke down the special features and I was making fun of it. Like that's how nerdy I get with Friday the 13th. So, yeah, I love them, dude. Desert Island, I guess that's my top 3, but at the same time, if I was going to do Desert Island, I'd got to get some zombie Jason in the mix. I'd probably do 4. I think I'd still stick with 1, but let's take 2 out just for the sake of having zombie Jason. I might even throw I might even go Jason Goes to Hell just to get something that's way different in there, so I might
Fire.
grab that one. Plus, it's the last Friday movie to feel really vintage too. So
First time they changed the series title. I mean, that feels
it
like a Friday
it
movie
feels
when you
so
start it.
vintage, like it because it was '93. They filmed it, I guess, like Jason X, because I was well alive when that movie came out, and like that era of movies doesn't feel vintage yet, but like Jason Goes to Hell feels vintage. I could smell like the bubble gum and the card wrapper kind of vintage smell when I think about Jason Goes to Hell. So
So I was 10 when that came out, or maybe 11, depending. And I would go to mom and pop video stores. I can smell the paneling. That poster was in
it's
every
iconic,
single
man.
mom and pop.
Oh
It
yeah.
was everywhere. My friends, their parents would be watching it. People would talk about the glove and the ending. It was
Mm.
everywhere in 93. I was like, probably fourth grade. It was everywhere. I was obsessed with it. So, what is it about Friday that's so collectible?
I'm convinced it's got an addictive nature to it. Dude, I mean,
It's like a sugar high.
people keep saying, Christian, I get this a lot. Like, Christian, you're clearly a bigger Friday the 13th fan than Elm Street. Just admit it. Maybe one day I will say that, and I love Elm Street. I love collecting Elm Street too. I've got my baby Fred, which I love my baby Fred. I got a lot of stuff, but there's something about Friday that is genuinely so fun to collect. Anything I can get my hands on. The waxwork vinyls, the busts. I mean, I got my massive Jason Takes Manhattan right there. I love it
That
is
thing is
sick.
sick.
Um, the physical media is addicting to me. But I genuinely, to me, there's so much rich history with Friday the 13th. Like there's rich history with everything about it, with the artwork for the movies and the way they came out, and the dude.
Paramount.
I mean, people would lose their minds if you just Googled the newspaper ads for the films back in the day. They're gorgeous. Um, they're
And they're
pumping them
pumping them
out.
out.
The
One a year.
soundtracks. There's so much iconic stuff about it, and there's something that just feels so like it's fun. I it's a dopamine rush. Like when anything new physical media gets announced for Friday the 13th, I genuinely am happy. Like it's like so funny. Like I, I feel like I'm past the point. Like I learned my lesson. If anybody's listening to this and they want to be a physical media channel, do it. We need your voice out there. We need to be promoting it, good or bad, because it's important to have our voices heard too on stuff that we don't agree with, especially the pricing on stuff. But it's like I learned my lesson no longer to try to buy anything on Friday the 13th and convince people that they need to buy it too so I can justify it for myself. No, no, I make it known I am a archivist for Friday the 13th. I am. Like I have so many releases. I think I have everything American you can get, at least very close to it. There are a few odds and ends. Like there's these random I Love the 80s cover DVDs for like Friday Part 2. I got to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
stuff like that. But I finally got all the original Paramount. I have all the original Paramount DVDs. Then I got the deluxe DVDs. I've got a lot of UK stuff. I've got some German stuff. I got a lot of stuff, and I genuinely love it. The way the movies are shown to people or presented to people, even the menu screens that get used for foreign releases, they're vastly different.
Oh
The
yeah.
way markets show present the movies to the audience is different across the world. That's fascinating to me. So I love Friday the 13th. It's the most fun to collect. I don't care if you like Halloween more. I don't care if you like Elm Street more. I don't care if you like Hellraiser more. Nothing is more fun than collecting Elm Street. I mean, Friday the 13th. It is so addicting and fun. I love it. I really love it. I think I rub off on people too, because people will see a video I do on it, and then they'll screenshot eBay links where they bought this and that. And they're like, "I got this,"
Oh, they could try and
But
get you in
dude,
trouble.
I don't know. It really just I love every minute of it. I love every minute of it.
It's so much fun to talk about. Yeah, you got me excited. I'm getting a final chapter tattoo on Friday.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's pretty
Are
sick.
you getting the hockey mask with the
Yeah.
knife through the eye? Come on,
Yeah.
come on.
With the
Yeah, I
blood
got
underneath.
I got I got like a scratcher tattoo. I got to get that fixed. I had bad sunburn when I got this. I'm getting a part. It's a part 5
Ooh.
Freddy where he's doing this off of the home video poster. Yeah,
Oh, the
yeah, I'm getting that.
standee.
I'm getting that Freddy right there, but he's all messed up. But because I
That's
was
so cool.
sunburned, my artist said you got to go home. So now I look like I got a jail tattoo.
I was looking at it on the live stream. I'm like, he's got Freddy
Yeah,
there somehow. He's
yeah.
coming
So I
along.
mean, I never
That's
I
awesome.
never even wanted to get tattoos, but my wife started getting covered in them, and then I started doing them too because I was like, I guess I got to get them. So then I started getting a bunch of tattoos.
I haven't had one in like 6 years. I'm pretty sleeved up, but I'm excited to find a space
Hell
for
yeah,
the
dude.
final chapter. So I'm a huge fan of extreme horror, extreme, and Italian horror. What was the first extreme horror movie that truly rattled you?
Poughkeepsie tapes. If you count that as
Ugh,
extreme, you may say, Christian, that's not extreme. To me, it's extreme. Um, it bothered me.
crazy
Yeah, it
backstory with
bothered
it.
me. I remember my wife told me about it because I was a big found footage fan at that point.
It was on sci-fi. Like it premiered, then it disappeared. You
Yeah,
couldn't find it
that's
forever.
what made it so interesting to me. My wife was like, they put this movie out called the Poughkeepsie. I thought it was the dumbest name. I was like, what is a Poughkeepsie? And she goes, it's a town. It's a town in New York.
It's
And
New
I was like,
York.
okay, now I love the title. But I remember we watched it. And it just bothered me, man. Like, because it felt so real and just mean, and the documentary style of it too. There was, I don't want to spoil it, but it's been out for years. But
It's
the
up
part of
close and
that movie
personal.
where the guy at the end says, "We're going to put this film out, and we think the guy is not going to be able to help himself. He'll be sitting down in a chair watching it." And I got chill bumps hearing it's one of the most effective movies to me. And that's another thing, dude. It's like I put myself out there with some of that stuff, being like, no, no, it really does. I admit it, and people are like, LOL. But dude, like, I love getting lost in movies, and I get lost. A good found footage movie, I get lost in it. And Poughkeepsie tapes stuck with me for days.
It's
Then I
nasty.
saw, before that I saw Serbian, and then I watched Necromantics 1 and 2. Two's worse.
It
Um,
is.
Solo, I've seen all that stuff. I can get down with them, like extreme stuff. Like I wouldn't watch it every day, but like don't dare me. Like I'll watch anything. It's fake. I'll watch anything. Like when that Faces of
Right.
Death was coming out, like I got lucky. I found one of those at Walmart. No, it's now it's funny because everybody was like, no, Christian. They DM me, hey, get Traces of Death, and I was like, why? And they go,
That's the
because that's
shit.
got the real stuff in it. And I was like, okay, Traces of Death, that's got the real stuff in it apparently. So
It's
yeah, that's so
bad.
funny because I was getting these like quiet DMs like, "Hey, get Traces of Death."
Just so you know, dude.
So yeah, stuff like that. But Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Ferox. I can watch out. I don't watch it routinely, but every now and again, dude, like yeah, I'll put on hate crime. you know, oh,
I'd never seen
put it
that.
on,
You talked about it. I
put it
bought
on.
it. It's messed up. Nobody wants to be your friend when that
Oh,
movie's
what's so
on.
funny
Nobody.
is one of my buddies. I'll keep his name out because I don't want people to be like, "That guy's crazy." He was like, "You got to check this movie out. It's awesome." And so it was on Tubi at the time, and I had to go to band practice. And my guitar player, like, I was just like, so my wife was at work still. I was off that day, so it was like 4:30, and my guy was like, "Hey, we're ready. You can start heading over here." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, the movie had started like 4:15. My wife gets home at like 5:05. She used to work right next to the house. My, my
It's
wife
a bad
comes
setup.
home. I'm gone. She opens the door, and as soon as you open the door in the backyard in the carport, the TV's immediately to the left. The living room's connected right to the kitchen. I had it on in the living room, and I got home. She goes, "What the fuck was that?" And I was like, "Oh, my buddy told me to watch that movie. It's called Hate Crime." And she was like, "I don't ever
Oh,
want to
dude.
see something like that on the television again." So it was pretty. In hindsight, looking back, it's pretty funny.
Dude. And it's short. It's like an hour.
That makes it
It's
even
horrible.
worse too. Like it's just You know,
What's the most controversial film in your
I
collection?
don't know. That's a good question. Probably Clown House or something like that. you know, I mean that's for realistic
So
reasons though. Or
yeah, totally.
but
If somebody was going to get into disturbing, extreme splatter, what's a 3 film starter pack you'd recommend?
um, I think you gotta. I think everybody needs to see Serbian film. Just see it,
Agreed.
get it out the way. That way you don't have to. You don't have to be like. It's more worth it to just see it and say, "Yeah, I saw it." When you get
I
asked
don't
a
want to. Yeah,
thousand times, like, "Oh, have you seen Serbian film?" Because what's more annoying, seeing the film once and then getting it out of your system, or have you seen it? No, you gotta see it, and you get that, and you just get it. Just
forever.
say you've seen it. Um,
Yeah.
Necromantic, believe it or not, I think Necromantic is like for history's sake because those movies were done. What was that like? I think Necromantic. I think
80s,
Necromantic
late
2 was
80s.
91 and Necromantic was like 88 or something. I know. I know
That bunny
Necromantic 2
scene.
was early 90s because it was in Search of Darkness. So watch Necromantic because it's just like this was done back then, and then
Did you like
I did
Martyrs?
like Mars. I haven't reviewed it though. Somebody keep they stopped for a while, but somebody used to always say, day 37 of asking you to review Martyrs. When I upload YouTube shows, I was like, oh, fuck. I never reviewed it, but
Shut
no,
the fuck
Martyrs
up.
was fantastic. You could throw that one in there. You could throw Cannibal Holocaust in there, but I want to stick with the Poughkeepsie tapes because I think if you turn the lights out, I mean, really turn the lights out, put the phone down, and just let the movie envelop the room. See what it does. That's I want to stick with that one.
That's a great pick. When she's pleading for her life, but she kind of likes it, it's unhinged, man. It,
It
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 really
gets under my
does.
skin.
Or when he's hiding in the closet in like the first 30 minutes, that part that because that's
Oh
straight
yeah,
out of BTK stuff. You know.
yep. BTK is
Yeah.
horrifying, horrifying. Great picks. I had a question like, if you had a movie in your collection that was kind of like The Ring, you have to make somebody watch it so you can forget about it. It sounds like a Serbian film for a lot of people. That's the film, just to kind of get it over with. Like,
So you're saying like I need somebody else to watch it so I don't have to. It's like it does. I forget the movie existed, kind of thing.
you pass it on.
I don't know that I'd be more of a I'd be more of like a jackass with something like that. It'd be like the Suckling or something, you know, or
Screw.
Hobgoblins, you know.
Yeah. Oh, some of those crazy Severin titles you're reviewing.
Yeah, peanut butter solution. That's one of my favorite
Peanut butter
videos I've ever done because
solution.
that was genuine. Like that review, I didn't plan to go that hard, but when I just hit record, I started talking. I couldn't help. Like that was all. That movie was
Just came out
fucking ridiculous.
out of control. Well, let's talk. We were talking hate crime with your wife. Do your guys' tastes kind of line up? Do you ever like mess with her, try to ruin her evening? I do that with mine. Our first date was The Evil Dead 2013. So she
Really,
hates that movie.
she
Loves
loves it
it,
now, or what
but
do you
hates it.
mean? She
Yeah, I mean, she knows we have to get it out of the way if I want to watch it.
so Sydney definitely obliged with me when we first started dating, and we loved what she would watch Halloween 3 with me all the time, and Elm Streets and Halloweens and all that. But like I've burnt her the fuck out on them. Like she has no desire to watch it. But um, right now we've been on a big thriller binge, just movies that are like thrillers or psychological thrillers. So I watched Gone Girl for the first time a couple nights ago. Phenomenal
Oh, that's
film.
great.
I Yeah, yeah.
David
And when she
Fincher.
told me who directed it, I said, "Why didn't you start with that?" She's like, "Well, it's
I would
based
have
on a
watched it.
book." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, yeah," because she's a big reader. And then she goes, it was directed by David Fincher. I was like, you should have said that 20 minutes ago. But we love that. We watched a movie called John Q or something with Denzel Washington, where his kid needs a heart transplant, and he holds up a
Yeah.
hospital. I've been digging stuff like that. But Sydney likes old school. Like, if I go to, like I say, I have band practice in the evening now. We got the candle company, which, she wanted to do that more than anything. And I said, let's, quit your job and let's actually go for it when you need a candle. So she does that. And like, I'll come home from band practice sometime. It'll be 7:30 and she's in the bedroom. All the dogs are on the bed and she's got on The Mummy, the original, just playing. Like, she loves watching old school movies. So our tastes don't unalign, but we also, our niches are different, if that makes sense. But she'll watch all the, like, if news, like, she's a Clown in the Cornfield book fan, and I'm like ready to just see the movie because I
Right.
think it just hit VOD, which I didn't go to the theater to see that. I was like, I'll wait for that, but I'm excited to see that. But I know she's gonna be like, oh, I like the book better, you know.
Of
So
course. So talking you to candles, what's the best part of running that? I mean, my office at work smells stupid good all the time. If you aren't following, you need a
look at
candles. I
that, dude. That's
mean,
the Friday the 13th, the
that's in the game.
series.
I had to stop it. I was losing most of his mask. I was
Yeah.
like, gotta burn that
Um.
on Friday.
I'm sorry.
I
Go ahead, please. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
just the quality, the way it smells. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you a plug. It just lasts for days and
Well,
days.
thank you first of all, because I know you've been a great supporter, and I appreciate it. And I
Yeah,
hope,
dude.
now that you're here, you're a customer, you can speak to the fact that I know, especially when we started out, people were really supportive. We started in 2022. People were really supportive. They gave us a shot, but this ain't a charity business. I think we make really good stuff. Our stuff smells amazing, what lasts way longer,
It
and
does.
everything we do, there's this weird thing that kind of, it didn't start, it's not like becoming a thing, but every now and again people will say, like, Christian, why do you peddle these candle things? Like, why did YouTubers start peddling stuff? I was like, no, you don't get it. A company's not saying, hey, can you sell these candles for us? No, my wife is making them in our house. They're handmade. We ha- we have
It's a labor of
contracts with
love.
companies to get jars, to get the packaging. We buy all that stuff ourselves. My wife is melting wax for hours in the living room. Our living room looks like, I mean, our kitchen looks like Breaking Bad when she's making candles. We got all the things everywhere. The stuff's on the stove. We're melting wax down. She's getting all the experiment stuff done. She's getting all the like, we buy everything. We make everything from scratch. So we love candles and wax melts. We're passionate about that kind of stuff. We always have been. It all started where my wife was like, Christian, stop leaving candles on in the house when you leave. And then she got me a wax warmer. She's like, you can leave this on. It's a light bulb. That way you're not going to burn the house down. That's how it
Yeah.
started, and I fell in love with it. Still love candles too, but which, by the way, I gotta see if we can buy more of these. We have these this is when I was melting these skull jar candles. This one
Oh,
smells really
that's the
good. But anyway,
shit.
so my wife was like, we should start like a candle company and like make it fun. Make it to where, people that people that are
Collectible.
into the stuff you're into, it's like, why not make them a Jason candle that it can stay in their room and they want it to be in there and they want to use it in there, and it's not just like a candle that says pumpkin scent on it. Like, no, make it fun. I was like, yeah, but I don't know how much that stuff costs. I don't know how to do that. She's like, I'm gonna learn. And so, long story short, around 2022, my wife had a job, and she kind of found out that, like, people were these. She worked at a company where, like, these younger people were getting hired on after her, and they're kind of making more money than her. And she
Oh,
called me
that's the
up all
worst.
upset about it, and I was like, if they don't match, I said, don't be mad. Go talk to the boss. If he doesn't match it, you know, quit. Don't be don't let nobody
We'll figure
push you
something out.
around. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, don't let, if he doesn't match it, just quit. And I said, and we're gonna make this candle thing work. I think the guy didn't match it, said he came home, and I was like, if we're gonna do this candle thing, let's do it right. Let's really do it. And so within 2 months from that day, we legitimately got everything situated because we had experimented. We had made them before in the past to see if we could do it. But Sydney's a pro at it now. Like she used to have problems with it, the mixture, like the wax would be chunky and clunky. Now our stuff is smooth as butter. It's all trial and error. We've been doing it for 3 years. She has been doing it 3 years now. So we have Unita candles, and my thing is I want to give people quality stuff that is not going to just like if you melt our cubes down from our wax melts, it's going to last. We pack way more liquid scent per cubic whatever inch in our wax melts because all the stuff you buy at the store, it's all factory made and diluted, and they kind of spray those wax melts when they package them. Like they shoot it with the scent on the wax of whatever the flavor is. So it when you open them up, it smells
Oh,
like they're
okay.
really strong. But once you melt them down, after
But it's
you
not
what
in the
well, once you
wax.
melt them down, that smell dissipates like that after a use of one of those cubes. Our stuff lasts twice as long. It does. And we just
Does.
keep trying to make fun stuff for people and give them quality, get nice jars, and it's tough getting all this stuff. You have to have contracts with some of these distributors to like constantly stay in rotation of getting stuff and having first dibs on Halloween style jars and stuff that we get. So, it's fairly successful, but man, it's a lot of work, and I don't know if people realize it.
What's the turnaround time? So it seems like every 2 weeks or around you'll have a drop. Is she just making them around the clock, getting
Yes.
them ready?
And we have to plan because a lot of the distributors and stuff that we buy from out of Texas that like we get these kinds of jars and stuff from, we have to buy them months in advance. So we kind of have to plan stuff for the year. Maybe not like, okay, let's kind of design this to be like let's make like a blob candle or blob wax melt. We have to buy certain stuff when we're allowed to put our like when we're allowed to buy it. So we have to plan stuff in advance, but you know, yeah, around the clock. Like Sydney all day yesterday when I got home from work, she was just getting all the because we have the launch Friday. We have those I Love New York. They God damn. The Big Apple is our best selling melt candle of all time. The Big Apple,
I buy like four of
it
them
yeah,
whenever they go on
and
sale.
it
They come
is.
back.
We're gonna have melts and candles Friday. Big Apple wax melts and candles. And Sydney, what we did was we bought an ice cube tray of Jason masks. So we're
Oh,
pouring
nice.
Sydney Mac. I said, Sydney, you have to do the Jason hockey mask like on the poster. And she's like, you know how hard that's going to be? I said, you'll figure it out. So that's why the masks you saw, it's
It's like
split like the red
split.
and blue, like on the poster. So, and those kind of touches, I really
So
hope people notice that because that is a lot of work, but we want to give people
I bet.
we want it to be a fun experience when they get from us. Like this is all like we don't want it to be like okay, our house is gonna smell good. We want if you have guests over, and it's like, is that a blob wax melt or is that a Jason Takes Manhattan candle? I want like yeah, and I want to be like, dude, that's awesome. Where'd you get that? That's the whole thing. We want it to be a fun experience. We want to take something that is you need in your home to make your place smell good, but we want to make it fun. And like I wanted to make it not necessarily a masculine thing, but I wanted to make it a thing that is not just like a thing that maybe girls think about, like candles and wax. I wanted to be like a thing for my bros. Like, hey, dude, let's make these rooms smell
Yeah.
good. Like, so that was why I wanted to be like, let's do it movie oriented and stuff like that.
It's a trip because I buy quite a few of them, and so I'll have a stack of ones that I really really like, and ones that are kind of seasonal. So birthdays, Christmas, I'll give. I'm friends with bikers, big time band people, just strange looking people, and they've all got wax melts, and they go to Walmart and they buy a burner, and their houses smell great. So you can too.
Yeah,
It's
with the
pretty
wax
awesome.
melt stuff, I mean, the wax melts have been awesome getting into that. I mean, my only hope is that we just continue to grow, and we're very fortunate. We have like you. I mean, I really do appreciate it, but like you know, I really
Oh yeah.
appreciate all the people that love to support us, and I think the reviews speak for themselves. If you go on our Etsy, we're I'm blessed. We're gonna after this launch Friday, I think we're gonna have sold over 4,000 wax melts in 3 years. So but I
Jesus.
mean, my wife really gave it hell because I was like, she wanted to start her own business, and it's just like, you know, it's been a blessing. It's a lot of work on her part, but she loves doing it, and I'm just the Billy. I always say I'm the Billy Mays. I just promote it. I get online, I talk about it. So
Dude, your shit sells. My coworker, I work in this giant office. She brings like Walmart melts to work, and it's like this battle. And she just stopped bringing them in. That grape candy, people come in, man, and they feel like they're in a
there you
fucking
go.
VHS store from the night. Like they can't figure out the smell. They're like, "What?" It's you got to bring that back. I mean, I'm telling you, that grape candy, it brings people up my stairs. And I don't want people in my
Yeah, you
office.
talking
But
about it's
yeah.
the CHH Mega Grape. I got it.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
That
I
mega
I
grape.
told Sydney, I said, I think, yeah,
I'm
I had
out.
told Sydney, I
I
said,
had
I think
so
people are really gonna like this, and she's like, well, what are you gonna do? I said, well, I like it so much, just make it the Planet CHH Mega Grape. She's like, okay, but yeah, we need to. I gotta
dude,
see if she can get her hands on that scent. But
that's a 10
I
out of
agree.
10 wax melt
I
all
agree.
day. It's the
It's
best
the
fucking
it's
wax melt.
sweet,
And
but
and the Friday
it's
candle, the
sweet,
apple.
but it's not like overpowering. It's like the perfect kind of grape scent. And yeah, I agree, dude. It really is that good. But the Big
It's
Apple is our
so
all
good.
time bestseller, and it smells divine. I have one going right now. My warmer. It really is good, dude.
Yeah, I have 3 left, like 3 packages. There's like a Friday one that's kind of like a clean linen,
The
the
part five,
yellow
and that was because
melt
of the laundry scene when
part.
Debbie Sue was putting her clothes up. That's why I was like clean linen.
See the story behind.
Yeah,
That's awesome. We're reaching behind the curtain, man. So I have so many
ask
questions
him
for
away.
you, but if I feel like I've been watching for I don't know 3 or 4 years. What is something that people get wrong about you on YouTube? Like if there's something that you wish people knew about you, whether it's a misconception or
Wow, that's a really
yeah,
good question. I feel like I've curtailed that a lot by just being as real as I can on YouTube. But kind of just to reiterate, like that was one of the things. It's like for some reason people think this company just sends me a bunch of candles and I get paid to sell them. Like that's the one thing I hate to reiterate that again, but it's happened now like 5 or 6 times where people have said that to me, like, why are you doing that? I was like, you don't know that we're making those in my home? And they're like, oh, that's another thing. It's like, and credit to my wife, she works her ass off on them. Everything is hand done. But getting away from that, I don't know. That's a really good question. Um, and this could just be because I'm on YouTube and I'm in front of the camera that I feel like I'm in the more dominant position to where people are seeing me talk and they can't respond. I don't think I'm smarter, better than anyone when it comes to any of this stuff. And I try to present that way as much as I can. I try to talk to the audience, not at the audience, because there's a lot of that going on where people are just talking at the audience and not to them.
totally.
Um, I don't know. I don't know if there's a whole lot of misconceptions about me. At least they're not saying it to me. Besides just a few things that I know. I mean, let me ask you: was there any? Did you have before you got to start watching shows? Was there anything about me that you were surprised to hear, or
I think I've had a couple weeks to work on some of these questions, and just behind the scenes, I started a YouTube channel because I wanted to talk to you. I felt like I had something to add to the conversation, and your laugh reminds me of my best friend Mike. Same laugh. So when you're excited, I was like, it felt like talking to an old friend, and that was the best compliment I could give anybody because Mike's like the best. So it's it's kind of cool when you bring your friends together and you have these big panels and you just kind of whole core. It's a different version of you where you're fucking with people. You're just, what? What? Like, that's the best. So it's kind of cool. You get the intimate Christian, and then you have like these Planet Dirties and Unitas that are like, you're shooting this shit. So I don't know if it's a misconception
No,
or not,
that's yeah.
but it's an interesting
That's me. And
dichotomy.
honestly, I'll tell you, this may not be a misconception, but I'm an open person, but at the same time, there's still things about my life that I'm very private with. Not stuff that I'd be not like not like I'm an ex convict or anything, but of course there's things about
Sure.
my life. I have struggles just like everybody else. That's another thing, man. It's just like yeah, I love life. I love having fun on YouTube. I love horror. I love Friday the 13th. I'm so jacked to go see. I'm gonna be listening to Crazy Licks all Friday, getting ready to go see the original. I can't wait. But you know what? I have struggles just like everybody else. I try not to bring it too much to the internet or not worry about telling people about it. But I'm also somewhat of an introvert. I really am. In real life, I'm not unfriendly. I'm very friendly and I'm polite and I'll talk to people, but huge crowds don't bother me. Small crowds, I get uncomfortable. And like my band, there's always a joke about as soon as we get done playing, Christian's out of there. It's how I am, man. I don't know, and it's not like I don't like people or don't like being around people, but man, I've always been like that. When I find my people,
Yeah,
when I
you seem
find my
very
people
measured.
though, I find when I find my people and people that I can feel myself around because of YouTube and meeting people through YouTube, you know, I'm cool as a cucumber. But
You can let it rip.
yeah, I don't know. I try to
Awesome.
keep it authentic. I like I said, there's your on camera you, and then there's your off camera you. But if you can keep them fairly close together, meaning you're not acting a complete you're not being a persona online, I don't think there's a whole lot to be misconceived about. So I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty fortunate in that way. But like I said, maybe people think stuff about me that they just don't tell me. So I'm sure there is.
Nah, you seem like a great dude, man. Um, I want to start wrapping up here, but what's your favorite Rocky movie?
Three, three.
Gun to your head. Oh,
That's. I was going to
three's
say,
good.
I didn't get the sense that that was your answer.
So I go back and forth. So I went through. I had my son like 7 years ago. Changed my life. I was a total punker, and then part two, for whatever reason, his struggle in that became really personal with the kid, and I that became like my favorite one. But growing up, I thought Clubber Lang was the best villain, and it has the best music. I love the beach, the training. He goes through some shit. So three, growing up was my favorite. It shifted as I got older to where I always watch them in a row, but two hits for me now, way more than it used to.
Two is phenomenal, but I don't think Clubber Lang is the villain.
It's him so.
No, it really is. I really thought Clubber. All he wanted to do was get a shot. He couldn't get a shot. He had to go out of his way to get a shot. You know, three is about. I think I look at three as a movie of just like once you get to a certain point in your life where domino pieces start falling around you, you don't want them to fall, but they're falling, whether you like it or not. Your life is going to change in ways, whether you like it. You're going to start losing people as you get older. You're going to lose friendships. You're going to go through struggles. What are you going to do to continue? That's why I look at three as the one of the most metaphorical life lesson movies of all time. Clubber just represents to me.
It's
Clubber
so
just
good.
represents everybody around you that's trying to do the best they can. You know,
Yeah, you got to measure yourself. Yeah, I love
but
three.
I
I
love
mean, I want
Rocky,
to talk to you
but
about
yeah,
Chevy
and that's fine.
Chase.
But I'll tell you this: the greatest movie of all time is First Blood, not Rocky. It's First Blood.
Dude,
I'm a Rambo guy for life.
yeah, I love first. I just watched it. I mean, I watch it all the time. And being it takes place in Seattle. I know it's like Canada where they filmed it, but it looks like
Sure,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
where I was
So you
raised.
got
So I love the
that
scenery.
that kind of Twin Peaks looking wood, you know.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That's my country. Yeah, I love First Blood. Well, this has been great, man.
sure, yeah,
Seriously. I super appreciate it.
yeah. I had a great time, dude. I could talk forever about all this stuff.
Yeah, I got like 5 pages of things I want to talk about. We'll have to do it again. I want to keep you
You give
forever,
me,
but
you got 3 more? Let it
oh
rip. We're at an
yeah,
hour and
dude.
55.
You got a horror movie you I know, and I was late. Screwed up the intro. Is there a horror movie you love only because of the VHS cover?
um,
Or any poster art?
only love it because of the VHS cover. Good question. I don't know. I don't feel like just that alone is good enough for me. So I don't know if there's actually there's VHS, there's covers arts that like are ingrained in me that I identify as that cover. Like Return of the Living Dead Part 2 to me is like one of the best covers of all time.
It's so good.
Yeah. I
But it's
love
a
it.
great movie
Oh god, I
too.
love it.
But sometimes nostalgia and cover art gets like intermixed and shit in my head where I'll remember Mausoleum a
Oh,
certain way,
that's a great artwork.
and then I'll watch it and be like, this is a pretty good movie. But my memory of
Oh,
that
dude.
cover is way different.
The cover is a 11 out of 10.
So good. You're going to a horror convention or you're on a panel. What are 3 people you want next to you?
Do they have to be other YouTubers or they could be whoever?
Nope. Horror
Alice Cooper,
icons.
because he is a horror icon.
Boom. Yes.
Um, Sean Cunningham. I want Sean.
Okay. Because of the Friday 13th
I want to hear.
house,
Yeah, I'm sure he's. I want to.
his
Yeah, I want
production.
to learn from Sean. And then the third person would be. I'll make it living since everybody so far has been living. Honestly, I'd want somebody that's close to George Romero, so I'd want Tom Savini up there.
Okay. Tom would be
I
awesome.
want Grumpy Tom too.
Yeah. Piss off, Tom. So you got to impress somebody, right? And you want to show off your horror collection. They come into your house, they're bullshitting you a little bit. You can tell they're blowing smoke, but you want to kind of flex a little bit, and you can't show Baby Freddy. What are you pulling out?
If I can't pull out Baby Freddy, I think the thing that would be the most impressive would probably be Jason Takes Manhattan. I mean, he's a beast. He's huge.
You pull that down? Shows.
He's
God,
big. Look
dude,
at him.
that.
Look at the body.
Oh,
You
dude,
know, this the story of
fucking
how I got
sexy.
that is hysterical.
Let's hear it.
I had this. There's a company called Creation X with a K. Still around. Great company. They make really good stuff.
They have an eBay, right? Super expensive
Probably, but
sometimes.
there's creationx.com. He, this guy, I bought this Leatherface bust for $300 from Creation X back in 2013. Well, he stopped selling it. And maybe 2-3 years ago, I kept getting a message from this one person that will remain anonymous. I don't even really know who they are, to be honest with you. They wanted it so bad. They would say, name your price. Name your price. You want to trade for something? Name your price. And I'd be like, maybe, maybe not. I don't want to sell it. Blah, blah, blah. They kept at it. And basically it got to what is it going to take? And I was like, you really want to know what it's going to take? And they're like, just say it. Like you don't understand how bad I want that thing. And it was a gorgeous Leatherface. It really was. Um, I said, okay, I want a half bust of Jason Takes Manhattan from Devil's Latex because my goal and one of my Friday the 13th dreams is to have a life size Jason Takes Manhattan, which still may happen one day. Like I want to
Dude.
get the mannequin and I want to get a full body suit of it. It still may happen one day. And I said, if you order me from Devil's Latex the torso bust of Jason Takes Manhattan,
So you straight traded.
so I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought the guy was going to be like, "You're out your
That's
mind."
fucking crazy.
But I said I want the half torso from Devil's Latex. I'm not talking where it's the neck up. I want it from the waist up. I want the big one because it is. I mean, it is
Dude.
when you look at it, it's slime. It looks just like Kane Hodder. And I didn't hear back from the guy for like a day. Well, the next day or so, could have been 2 days later, I get a DM and it's a group chat. It's me, this person, and then the guy who runs Devil's Latex. And the guy says, all right, so this is the person you're sending the bus to, Christian. Let him add whatever specs he wants. I just want you to get with him, blah, blah, blah. So then the guy goes, oh, I know him because I'm friends with the guy. I've bought a lot of stuff from Devil's Latex. So we were talking and he was like, yes, what kind of deal you got going on? I said, this guy just wants to trade for a bust I have. And I told him I wanted this. He goes, hey, whatever. I'm getting paid. It's all good. So then I told him what I wanted. I wanted it medium slime, that too heavy slime. I wanted my hockey mask to look like this, blah, blah, blah. Dude, that thing is like, it's like $800, close to $1,000 after shipping. It's not cheap. I mean, the money's at there when you look at it. It's gorgeous. My video is funny. Like I'm just
Dude.
telling the story about how I got it and everything. Um, but he wanted that Leatherface so bad, and so he met my demands. So, and then I even said, I said, you got to understand how leery I am about this. I'm not sending you I'm not sending you Leatherface till that Jason is in my house. And he was a
100%.
little weird with me at first. But I said, listen, dude, I'm a public figure. Like I'm not saying I'm somebody, but I'm a public figure. You could ruin me if you wanted to. Like if I screwed you, if I shafted you, you could ruin me. You could ruin my reputation. So if that's not good enough for you to know that like I'm gonna send it to you, but like I'm not sending it to you till I get this Jason. Otherwise, something you could somehow be pulling up. That could have not been Devil's Latex I was talking to or something. And then he's like, hey, you know what? Totally get it. Wait till you get your Jason. Once you get it, send me Leatherface. And I package it the way he wanted him to. So I lost my Leatherface, which sucks. But I still have my Phantasm bust from Creation X, so I still got a nice piece from him. But I got my Jason Takes Manhattan, and when you walk in here, your eyes go right to it whenever you see it. So I love it. I love my Jason Takes Manhattan bust. That's my eye stopper for sure. That
Dude. Is that thing 3 feet?
um, I mean,
It looks
it's like if
huge.
you cut my torso off and stuck me on the shelf. I mean, that's. Let me see if I can get you a good shot of it. Like here's
Yeah.
my hand. Like look, it's a body. That's yeah,
It's
that's
lifelike.
Jason Goes to Hell right there.
No slouch either.
Yeah.
Great, great
So I mean my
bust.
yeah,
But
I
that
mean,
thing,
yeah. So my
medium
Jason
slime.
Takes Manhattan's awesome. I love him. So
I don't know how you're going to top that. You're probably not.
yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Christian, anything you want to plug really quick where people can find
Yeah,
you?
just Planet CHH right there. Find me on Instagram. I'm using X a little bit more. I'm having fun with Grok lately. I'm on there. Follow me there. Please follow You Need a Candles on Instagram. That's where
Do
you'll
it.
know when we have all of our launches on Etsy. We tell you the time and everything. Um, CHH on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to hear the covers and songs I write, I got to write a song soon and get ready for Halloween. I had a Halloween song last year. I did a Living Dead song, so I got to do this year's song. Um, and yeah, I think that's about everything, man. I appreciate you. If I had any help in you doing YouTube, man, I'm humbled by that. I really appreciate the, yeah, I
You
really
totally
appreciate the
did.
kind words, dude.
I waited a year to try to get decent to where I could stand myself to try to get you on here. So that's why it's the 1 year anniversary
I'm honored,
special.
man. And for 1 year, you're doing phenomenal. So yeah,
Appreciate
dude,
it, man.
I'm excited to see where you go.
It's a
And
grind.
yeah, I'll have to get you on a Planet Dirty. Come hang out with us one time, and you know,
That'd be
yeah, dude.
badass.
So congrats on 1 year. I mean, that's a lot of people quit, and you're rocking and rolling, dude. So
Appreciate it. You have the greatest Friday the 13th ever. I'm sure you're going to post some stuff. And yeah, man, take care.
absolutely, take care, everybody. Thank y'all for watching.
Peace.